In this video, I'm going to be answering two questions. First one is Hearthstone dying? And the second is, should you play Legends of Runeterra? Personally, I think the second one's a no-brainer. That's just me. But I'm also going to be going over a few of the things that Legends of Runeterra has been doing right thus far and why Hearthstone should watch its back. So without further ado, let's do it. So I think these questions are super important right now in this era of card games. I mean, I've been playing card games my entire life. From Yu Yu Hakusho to Inuyasha to Dragon Ball Z, and obviously the staples, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, all types of card games. I love card games. So it's very interesting to me to see what's happening right now with Riot releasing a card game, and Blizzard, obviously, they've kind of had a chokehold on online card games for quite some time now, and now even Magic the Gathering Arena is entering the stage. So I think it's very interesting what's going on right now, and I cannot wait to see what happens. So I have had a chance to get my hands on Runeterra. The first beta, the second beta, I have played a ton. I'd say probably about 100 plus hours at this point. I've filmed a ton of content. I have other YouTube videos that you can check out if you want to check out some of the decks that I've made. The first beta experience was great. It was kind of a learning process. There was a lot of things that myself and I'm sure a lot of other people had to flesh out with how spells interacted with certain things and some of the finer details of the game. After the first beta, they made a slew of card changes. They actually put up a statement saying it was 40 cards and they would probably never do that many cards again. But I am very excited that they actually did that many card changes so quickly. Shows me that they care about the game, the state of the game, and how balanced everything is from the champions to the different deck types. However, I will say there were a lot of broken cards in the second beta after they made all those changes, one of them being Anivia. So hopefully they will make some changes to her, but otherwise, overall, it was a great experience. So the betas were great, but about 2 or 3 days before the beta, Blizzard released a beta for Hearthstone Battlegrounds. So I don't think this is a coincidence whatsoever. I think that Blizzard planned this. I think that they wanted it to come out around the same time as Legends of Runeterra beta to kind of stir the pot a little bit, maybe take a little bit of interest from Legends of Runeterra. So Blizzard releasing it was kind of the first thing that led me to start thinking about the state of Hearthstone and the state of all the card games in general. The first thing that leads me to believe that Legends of Runeterra will eventually, possibly overtake Hearthstone. One of the things that I researched was the patch updates, and over the last 5 years or so, Hearthstone and Blizzard have really released around 14 patch updates a year for Hearthstone, which is far less than one every 2 weeks, which is what Riot does for League of Legends. Now, I understand that League of Legends is a MOBA and it's not a card game. However, it does show you the company's dedication. And that's what leads me to believe that Riot is going to lend an equal amount of support to Legends of Runeterra, which will be amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can attest that there is a point where you can do too much. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! There's so many ban lists that came out all the time, constantly banning cards, unbanning cards, limiting cards, unlimiting cards. And honestly, that was a little bit too much. It definitely wasn't good for the game. But I don't think it's not a question of banning and limiting. That seems to never be an issue anymore with many card games. And I don't think Legends of Runeterra will go that route either. It's more of we're going to change the entire effect of the card just so that we can make it balanced and make it work with as many decks and as many cards as possible. I will say Hearthstone did start heading towards that direction with Ragnaros and other cards like that. So I am kind of a little bit worried about that and kind of worried that they actually have to start banning cards now, and that, I don't know, I'm disappointed with what happened to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't want the same thing to happen to Hearthstone. So the core problems that Legends of Runeterra solves, a lot. So there's essentially 4 of them. So the first one is getting mana screwed. Anybody who's played Magic the Gathering knows how that feels. Basically, you don't draw enough lands. You have to mulligan. You have to dig for lands. It's not fun. That is something that Hearthstone also targeted and tried to solve with just, having the accessible mana every turn. It increases by 1. They did an awesome job with that as well. Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're looking for more Legends of Runeterra content, hit that sub button and turn that bell on for next time I put up a video. The second one is Inefficient Mana Use. And this is something that Hearthstone does not do. If you have, let's say, 3 mana and you have only 4 mana cost cards in your hand, let's say they're all spells for this example, because this is good for Legends of Runeterra, you basically just lose the 3 mana. And that always felt bad. Now, half of that is having a good mana curve deck and also managing your cards and your mana throughout the game. But some of that comes down to probability and statistics, and you just can't help if you're just not drawing the cards that fill out your curve as best as possible. Legends of Runeterra does this amazingly with spell mana. I love the idea. I think it's great. I think it's one of the things that's going to give it a huge competitive edge over pretty much any other card game. The second thing that I think is the most important thing about Legends of Runeterra is the interactivity on every single turn. Now, I'm going to use an example. Movies with a martial arts guy. It's 1 versus like 30. Okay? How many times have you seen a movie where it's one of the 30 guys goes in and tries to kill the guy or tries to fight the guy, and then the second of the 30 guys, and it's just one. That doesn't happen. They would 30 versus 1. They're all gonna go in. They're gonna win. You don't go one by one. You don't go, okay, now I'm gonna wait while you attack me. It's not interactive. You're just sitting there on their turn, just waiting. And that's something that Hearthstone was terrible for. That's something that a lot of card games are terrible for. Magic was decent with this because you could, use counter spells and stuff on the opponent's turn. So that's why Magic has probably been so successful as it has been. Legends of Runeterra, every turn you can play monsters, creatures, units, whatever you want to call them. Every turn you can play spells, slow spells, which is basically the equivalent of a sorcery spell in Magic. You can do anything that you could do on your turn, on your opponent's turn, with the exception of declaring an attack. But there's even cards that have effects that allow you to declare attack on your opponent's turn. So that, I think, is incredible, and I think it also makes the game much cooler and much more fun to watch. The only core issue that I see right now with the game is that because of the mana accessibility with the spell mana and you just seem to have a lot more mana all the time. You can play a lot more expensive cards. You can play a 6-cost spell on turn 3 by default. You don't even need another card. That does not happen in any other game. So I think that the power of the cards needs to be watched a little bit more. But I think Riot's going to do a good job at that. So to answer the 2 questions, is Hearthstone dying? No, not yet. However, it has to watch its back. If you look at Google Trends, which I'm going to show right here, they have been on the downtrend for like the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, or maybe not 5, maybe 3 or 4 years. They have consistently gone down. So they definitely have to be careful. They need to release new things like Battlegrounds to kind of, stir up creativity, stir up interest in the game, and make sure that it remains somewhat popular with card game players in general. Should you play Legends of Runeterra? Question number 2. Absolutely. If you have not really ever gotten into card games, you're unsure if you want to get into card games, maybe they've seemed a little boring to you in the past, this would probably be the game to try out because it is more interactive. It's a lot more action in the overall gameplay. So I think it has a higher probability of maintaining your attention throughout the game. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. I do want to say I do love Hearthstone. I've played it since basically when it came out. Love the game. We'll continue to play it, continue to support it. But I do love just the combat and the competition right now in the card game arena. So if you liked what you see, definitely hit the subscribe button below. Smash that like button if you like the video. And until next time, peace out.